Connectivity is a basic requirement for EVs, and it addresses both comfort and so-called range anxiety. Our next fireside chat session will address the topic EVs, a springboard for connectivity. I would like to invite Mr. Sumant Banerjee, consulting editor, ET Auto, to moderate the conversation. Over to you.
Welcome to this annual Connected Vehicles Summit at ET Auto. Now, in the global automotive sector, the big mega trends for the future are the CASE stands for Connected, Autonomous, Shared, and Electric Mobility. Now, all of these share some synergies between them, but the two of them that share the most are probably connected and electric mobility, which happens to be the topic of this special fireside chat that we have arranged here. And we are going to discuss about EVs as a springboard for connectivity. And who better to talk about this than the guest that we have, Mr. Sailesh Chandra. He's the president of the passenger vehicle business unit at Tata Motors. As most of us know, Tata Motors is the largest electric vehicle manufacturer for passenger vehicles in India. So who knows this better than Sailesh himself? So welcome to the show, Sailesh.
Thank you, Sumant.
So without much ado, I would like to ask you, what is the overall strategy on connected technologies at Tata Motors? And do you think this is going to usher in a paradigm shift in the way the whole sector functions?
Let me start by saying that if, when people used to buy cars, in the earlier years, they used to consider aspects like styling, performance, power, mileage. But over a period of time, one is seeing that the lifestyle of consumers are changing drastically. And that is also the expectations are going through an overhaul as far as the expectation of a consumer vis-a-vis a car is concerned. We really see the change in the lifestyle of people. Now they are exposed to more and more digital devices and tools. And in the times of pandemic, it has just accelerated even more, right? If you just see the convenience and personalization that they have been exposed to through use of various e-commerce platforms or, OTT entertainment platforms and all, their expectation from a car, which is also a part of their daily life, is also becoming more and more expectations around connectivity, right? And that's the reason why importance of connected cars is becoming very relevant as far as future readiness is concerned, right? As far as cars are concerned, cars are now going to become software on wheels. And that's the reason why there's going to be a paradigm shift, and the design of cars would be centered around connected cars. So that's one. Now, as far as Tata Motors strategy is concerned, vis-a-vis this, is that connected car has to be at the center of how we imagine the car going forward. We had started our journey. I think first connected car vehicle that we launched was with Nexon EV itself. And that also comes back to the topic that how the two are very interconnected. And it is more a necessity rather than just a good to have feature in an electric car. We went for development of our connected vehicle platform in 4 layers, as we say, 4 layers, which in first layer included the hardware and software that we give inside the car. The second layer is about the connectivity layer, which is the telecom service that you use to connect the car to the cloud. And third layer is the cloud, where you have the data lake and analytics layer. And the fourth layer is the user experience that you give through an app or a desktop experience or in-car experience, right? This is how we designed it. Now, the unique thing that we had focused on, and which we'll keep on focusing on, is to make it very nuanced to the Indian needs, right? Now, I'll just give you one example. This whole voice command. India is a country where multiple languages are, spoken, and the same English will be spoken in different accents, right? And therefore, we went for a very nuanced, voice command approach, where multiple accents could be understood well. And first we started with English, Hindi, and Hinglish, as we say, all these three. And now we are going to go for multiple languages so that everyone can give freedom, provide freedom to people living in any part of the country. So that was the nuanced approach. And then affordability has always been at the center of whatever we have been doing. So this is something which we were very particular about. Going forward, this will definitely be one of the central aspects that we will keep. But as you are seeing that the technologies are also seeing advancements, now we are moving from 4G to a 5G world, which will be 10 times to 20 times faster as the claims are as compared to a 4G world. And then edge computing also, which is now going to come. And that if you combine with the artificial intelligence, ML, telematics, all in combination, if you see the power that it has in terms of delivering a very intuitive experience in the car, is something which we are planning to bring in generation 2, generation 3 connected car vehicles. And therefore, the interaction between a consumer and the car is going to become very intuitive, which is shifting from, as we call the CX continuum, shifting from very instructional kind of an interaction to very interactive and then going more intuitive through artificial intelligence and all coming in. So this is what you can expect as far as the connected cars of future from Tata Motors is concerned.
So the interesting point that you mentioned was the first real connected technology that we saw in Tata Motors was in the Nexon EV, which itself was the first also mass market EV that we saw in the country. So will it be fair to say that any electric vehicle needs to have a minimum level of connected technologies embedded into it? Otherwise, it doesn't really work. So is that the real outcome of this?
I would absolutely agree to the statement which you made, Sumant, that if you don't leverage connected car technology in an electric car, you would not have fully leveraged the benefit that electric car offers. See, in electric cars, typically you use more electronic controllers. Every subsystem has an electronic controller and ECU sitting which can talk to, and a lot of data is thrown, which can be used to analyze and make the car more reliable and better in performance and deliver a more, what to say, peace of mind, convenience to a consumer. At the same time, it keeps on learning from the usage because data is available in an electric car. That's number one. And I'll just give you an example that when we launched the Nexon EV, we had certain assumptions in terms of how the drivers will be driving, where and how they will be driving. And therefore, the whole software around range was optimized basis those assumptions. As we collected more and more data over a period of a year, we got much deeper insight of how actually the car was being used and where it was being used. We assumed that the car might be used more in the city roads, whereas the freedom that electric car was giving to a customer, they were going even for highways, highway drives and all. And therefore, it was not optimized for that. So the data that you collect, one in general, I'm saying, in general for all the customers and therefore how you should optimize your software to deliver a better real range is what we were able to collect and therefore optimize the algorithm in a manner that it deliver more real range for a majority of the customers.
Right.
It also reads the individual driving behavior. Right? So there was an in general change in the software that we were able to do, but for an individual driver, in a connected car app, we also we went for a gamification where we gave a score to a driver, how the driver was driving a car. And therefore, basis that you can at least let the driver know that you can drive better, right? With some of the tips that we had given how to improve the range. So definitely you can do a lot, as far as the data that gets thrown in an electric vehicle, to further, improve the reliability and convenience. Also, diagnostics, right? Because you are using so many sensors, you are using so many data coming from electronic. What is going wrong in a vehicle, right? But the customer that you need to really get your car checked. And so those kind of features is what we were able to give, and therefore it went, it was very useful for us to improve our vehicles reliability and deliver a better customer experience. And for customers also, it was good. One big thing, Sumant, is that in electric cars as compared to ICE vehicles, because in ICE vehicles also you have a lot of information coming from.
Right.
But today, as the charging infrastructure is also evolving, right? Right now it is thin and it is going to penetrate more and more for a period of time. There is a period of range anxiety also.
Mhm.
And in electric car, with connected car feature, you can at least reduce the anxiety of a customer by um, giving him convenience that he can locate a charger, he can book, going forward a charging slot, and therefore this anxiety can be reduced to a great extent. So from both the directions, if I see, connected car and electric really go together.
So you have in fact answered the other question that I was going to ask you about data analytics and driver profiling that a lot of companies are doing with connected technologies. But I would go to the next question, which I have, is that increasingly I'm hearing that car companies need to become software companies, if not fully, then at least partially. And that itself brings a lot of opportunities as well as some challenges, because there are well-established software companies already there in the market. How are you approaching this, and how complicated can it be? Because it's good to have as much connectivity as possible, as much tech embedded in a car as possible. But from a manufacturing standpoint, this is absolutely new domain.
It is, Sumant, and there's a lot of work. First, that you have to build the in-house capability around this, right? Which is, as I said, that car will be software on wheels. So this is more software layer that you have to work on, and there will be a lot of hardware enablement which the car will have to undergo also, which is the electrical and electronics architecture that you have. But software is going to be a big opportunity. There are a lot of things that will be done in-house, but there's a lot of things to be done with a network of ecosystem partners, right? And our approach is going to be, leveraging both, right? So there will be an in-house work that we'll do. We have a lot of companies in Tata Group which work on softwares. So there is a huge in-house capability within the house of Tatas, which we have been leveraging, we'll keep on leveraging. So that's because all the generation 3, generation 4 connected car platform needs, more intuitive, kind of experience to be given to the customers, and which will require, machine learning, artificial intelligence, at the same time, gathering data from multiple sources. I'm saying when multiple sources, one is the in-car data that gets thrown through the telematics unit, for example, but also gathering the data from CRM, for example, customer relationship management, from social media, and then combining all that and giving a very intuitive experience to a customer. And I'm just giving you an example how you can imagine this world is that you left from your office, right, for a 1 hour drive to your home, and the car says, you seem to be tired. Why don't you go to a Starbucks, right? And I say,
Right.
yes. And then it says, okay, it orders coffee on my way. And I go and collect from a Starbucks my coffee and, move along. The other thing can be that it has been seeing that I have been looking for a television, buying a television, and it says that there's a Chroma, which is on the way. Would you like to check one of the televisions? I say no. It says, okay, you would like to save it as a favorite because this is your daily route. I say yes. So all these kind of experiences you have to deliver to a customer going forward. And you will partner with all these entities, which I said, Starbucks and all, so that then you can give a combined offer. So this is going to be the world. And therefore, capabilities definitely have to be built in the software space, but it is more a networked development that you will do as far as software is concerned, and multiple algorithms will have to be developed, multiple ecosystem of partners will have to be made. So it's not a world where you will be doing everything on your own. This is
So the car becomes much more animated. It's no longer just a static object which you are controlling. The car actually becomes much more interactive and a friend
intuitive,
on your way.
very intuitive. That's what.
Very
And to
intuitive.
deliver that, I'm saying, Sumant, not everything Tata Motors will be doing on its own. There will be some core capabilities which will be residing inside, but it will be done through network of lot of, say, Tata group companies, right? But also some of the other external partners who are working on cutting edge technologies in the connected car technology space.
Right, right. The other big segment that comes in when we talk about EVs, something that is already there with you as well, is on the commercial side, the fleet.
Yes.
And I understand connected technologies also plays a big role, because in a business, it is very imperative that the downtime can be minimized as much as possible. So the car remains, or the vehicle remains with you in action during the day, and the downtime can be extended overnight, etc., etc. So give us some sense about how that is working out, how connected technologies help there.
Yes. So I think, the fleet segment without connected is incomplete, right? So, and there are two systems which will interface with each other. One is the in-car data analytics around that and the information that is being thrown from the car, which has to be seen in an integrated fashion with the fleet management system, right? Fleet management system which does routing, scheduling, right? And real-time access of different vehicles on that platform, correct?
Correct.
Therefore, how it can reduce downtime is you get the live status of, say, 100 vehicles in a fleet, which shows the different state of charge, right, in an electric car. And a fleet management software is trying to map a request which has come from movement from point A to point B. It will be able to choose the best car with the charge state of charge left, which can do that, right? At the same time, it is, in a very predictable, say, for example, employee commute, from point A to point B, which is scheduled in certain time. And you can actually also let the driver of the car know that you have to get your car charged at this charging location, and a slot is provided to him. And therefore he goes, charges his car, and then again it gets into his slot is given for a certain route to be done. So it talks to the fleet management, and therefore you are able to better optimize, and never a car gets out of charge, right? At the same time, the utilization is maximized for different cars. It also, as I said in my earlier response also, the diagnostics and prognostics, it gives you proactive alert, because these cars are in intense use, doing 200 kilometer a day or 250 kilometer a day. At times, and most of the times, you'll see fleet cars break down. And then there is a downtime, to repair and all. If the alert is given proactively, it can be serviced in time, and these kind of downtimes can be avoided. So these are, I think, the opportunities in the fleet segment where connected car really enhancing the downtime and gives peace of mind, to a fleet management company and even the driver. I'm saying because, see, one thing is that I've seen that you are doing maximum running in a fleet as compared to a personal segment. The personal segment would do a 40 kilometer in a day, but a fleet segment does 200. Some of the fleet companies do 300 kilometers a day also. So a personal segment buyers asks for a 400 kilometer car, although he or she is doing only 40 kilometer. But if a fleet customer is doing 300, and if he starts asking for a 600 kilometer car, the whole total cost of ownership goes for a toss, because acquisition cost becomes very high. So the selection of the car should be just optimized to keep the battery pack minimum as possible, so that the person is able to maximize the revenue and is able to keep the acquisition cost also low by just going for the right range. And that's why you will see we offer a 213 kilometer range in a fleet car, whereas 300 plus kilometer in a personal segment car, because the requirements are very different. 213 allows us to keep the price low. But with this kind of a fleet management and connected car, you will be able to still avoid, any kind of downtime or revenue loss opportunity by optimizing the route. The software can actually suggest the eco routes. Means that if there is a traffic in a different route, it shows a route where you can actually maximize your range. So all
Mhm.
these possibilities are there, and therefore total cost of ownership also for a fleet management company or a driver who's an aggregator, in an aggregator, attached to an aggregator, can benefit a lot.
From a revenue perspective, does connected technology also help you in any way, in the sense that if you are embedding a car with more connected technologies, can you charge more from the consumer, saying it is high tech, so pay a little more for it? Uh, is that a possibility, or do you think, because especially in EVs, all of these would have to be standardized any which way, because without connected technologies, an EV cannot function properly? The revenue stream will be relatively muted.
Suman, this is a phase where a consumer has to go through an awareness, right, and understand the benefits better, right, and first get exposed to the convenience.
Mhm.
And therefore, for OEMs, it is difficult to charge at this point in time. And
Okay.
as more and more services you start giving and the customer starts understanding, there's a word of mouth of the convenience that it is creating and personalization, how it is benefiting the consumer. The time will come when a consumer will pay for certain services. But at the start, uh, we have to first, as OEMs, make the consumers aware. So they would not be ready at this stage, I would say, without having
Okay.
understood the benefits fully, to start paying a premium for these kind of services.
Lastly, do you think the connected technology, as we talk today, is the stepping stone to autonomous driving? I mean, in India, especially, I think we are a few decades away. And if and when high-end autonomous cars do come to India, they will probably be electric, because in 10, 15, 20 years' time, we are looking at very high penetration of electric vehicles. So autonomous technologies will probably also be percolate down to electric vehicles in a major way. Do you think the steps that we are taking today in connected vehicles will enable that?
Absolutely, Suman. So extreme use of a connected car is autonomous, right? That's the extreme, right?
Mhm.
Because that would need 5G, that would need edge computing, that would need artificial intelligence, that would need the advancements in the area of LiDARs, radars, and cameras, right? All this, when you combine together, is when you deliver a higher level of an autonomous experience. So therefore, connectivity, that's why I say connectivity sits at the center of the case, as you said, right? It is connected, which is going to enable everything. Autonomous, which is the extreme form of connected car, that is the stress test of a connected car technology. And electric is, we discussed, how the two go together. And then shared is on the basis of connected car. So connected car is technologies is sitting at the center. And going forward, as we are maturing, as 5G is going to come in the next 1 year or so, edge computing, where uh, the analytic insight is generated or the computing is brought closer to the action point, right? Which is what edge computing does. And when you combine that with the information coming through LiDARs, radars, in camera, you combine everything and you bring speed so that you can take action, at the point it is needed for going fully autonomous. So that's what I think is the future evolution of connected car and how autonomous will become a reality, a higher level of autonomous cars.
Right. Thank you so much, Shailesh, for taking time out. It's always an honor and pleasure talking to you. I'm sure our viewers gained a lot from this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sumant. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, everyone, for bringing out the valid points from the conversation. Now we'll move to the next session. Stay connected to your screens.